What's up, everyone? Hope you all had a good weekend. It was a pretty good weekend for Pittsburgh sports, actually, for the most part, except the Pirates continue their downward spiral. I think they're pretty much, unless they have a huge turnaround this week, and they're going to have the Brewers, and they're going to be heading to Houston, it looks like it's going to be a 20th straight year that we are going to be talking about a losing season for the Pirates. So that definitely sucks. And of course, the hockey lockout, that ain't any good either. If you're a Pittsburgh fan, I know a lot of us here were looking forward to seeing the Pens play, but that don't look like it's going to happen. And that kind of stinks, especially when for me, when football season ends, then it gets really boring because then if I don't have Pens hockey, then I'm stuck either watching basketball or some lame show on television. Definitely not the ideal way to spend the winter months after the Super Bowl ends. So that totally sucks for me too. But anyway, we're going to get into the Steeler game here, and I'm going to be recapping week 2. They played the Jets in Pittsburgh, home opener. This will turn out to be the 10th straight home opener that the Pittsburgh Steelers won. For those who do not know, the Steelers won this weekend 27-10, which is why I have this baby on, this Steeler hat right here. By the way, every time the Steelers win a game, even if they look completely ugly in the game, I will wear this hat right up there. So when they don't, then you got to see my ugly pack of hair up here, which will grow long here in a couple of weeks because my hair is very thick. But anyway, the Steelers looked much better this week. They played much better this week, for the most part. There are still some things, in my opinion, that need to be desired, and they are going to have to correct those in the coming weeks. Of course, it is still early, and at least they won the game because there is a big difference in the football league between going 0-2 and 1-1. Okay, especially after you lose and the doubters are out there saying the Steelers aren't going to be good. And of course, you heard the talks again, are they aging? You heard that again. But now it looks like that has been put to rest. And actually, they look like the Super Bowl 43 team. After the first couple of series that they allowed on the Jets, the Steelers' defense actually looked more like the Steelers' defense of Super Bowl 43 than they did of last year, when they looked really soft and pathetic for the most part, except for maybe 1 or 2 games here and there against pretty much lousy teams. So there you go. So the Steelers really improved, I think, this week when it comes to how they performed against the Jets on pretty much both sides of the ball. But defense, you gotta flip their hats out to them, because they played much better this week than they did last week when they were at Denver. Now, of course, I mean, Denver is a tough place to play, but that still is no excuse for losing. So no excuses for this game, in other words, or last game or this game. But yeah, okay. So the secondary mostly was good, although Ike Taylor had his moments. I'm wondering about Ike Taylor a little bit here, to be honest. He seems to have lost a step, and it showed especially in the Denver game last year when Tim Tebow pretty much victimized him. And I thought I'd be starting this video off by asking the same question I've asked for the last few weeks. Are you confident that this same secondary that got burnt by Tim Tebow is going to be starting this year? And I still wonder that, because this was just one game, and I think the Jets have total problems when it comes to quarterback. And I think when we start playing some better teams this year, and I do view some good quarterbacks coming up, like I do think that Rivers is good. He can be good anyway. You got other good quarterbacks down the road, so you got to wonder if this secondary is up to the task, especially early on when the Jets were pretty much kicking our butts early on when it comes to the offense versus defensive side of the ball. But then the adjustments came in. I think it was the midpoint of the second quarter. Stuff seemed to have started to turn around. The Steelers got a good drive, held the Jets to a field goal, got a good drive of their own, scored a touchdown, went 13-10, and then of course the Mike Wallace catch in the end zone in the third quarter. By the way, what a catch was that, and how he was able to get his toe in the end zone and it didn't hit the white chalk. I thought that was a great catch, and I think this shows why Mike Wallace earns or should earn his paycheck. And I think that the Steelers have an obligation to pay him close to what he wants at the end of the season, because he is a very, very big threat. In other words, okay, he had an off year last year, especially at the end of the year, but he has the potential to be good. But I do like that the Steelers are making him earn his paycheck this year. I do like that fact, but if he does play well this year, then I think we got to give him his paycheck, because he made a very good catch there, and he is a pretty big factor in this game. And even if he didn't catch many balls, the fact that he is still there creates a presence for other people and might get Antonio Brown open, who's starting to become a good receiver. Or Emmanuel Sanders, how about him? He has played well, especially on third downs. Third downs, he seems to make one catch after the other, and it showed last week in Denver. That was actually a good part of last week in Denver, is that Emmanuel Sanders really stepped up to the plate. And then, of course, yesterday in Pittsburgh, he stepped up to the plate as well. And also, Roethlisberger had a much better day. He performed much better yesterday than he did last week. I think he missed I forget the stats he had, but he had 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he played much better, no turnovers. He cut that out, passed about, I think it was around 30 times. It wasn't 30 on the dot, but I think it was like 27 or 28 times I think he passed. That's pretty good. And also, when the Steelers had to run the football, they ran the football well. Okay, and that was in the fourth quarter when we needed to shut down the game. And Ike Redmond did very well, scored that touchdown to pretty much seal the game. Also, Dwyer, I think this kid could be good. I mean, he had a couple of misreads, I think. But for the most part, he's getting better, and I think he's going to be a big star if Mendenhall struggles this year because of the torn ACL. And my guess is Mendenhall will not see action until after the bye week, which is coming up in week 4. So already this year, the bye week for the Steelers is pretty darn early this year. So that's going to give the team a very a much deserved needed rest anyway for week 4, but at the same time it means a longer season on the flip side. So but anyway, there you go. So that's pretty much it on the offensive side of the ball. Much better. Defensively, much better after the first quarter, and probably the first 1.5 quarter, because they played pretty poor in the second quarter too. But then they adjusted. Then they started bringing the pressure, and I like that. I want to see more of it. Okay, it is time to get people in the quarterback's face. Yes, you're gonna be. You're risking. You're definitely making risks doing that, but you've got to get in their face. You gotta be able to put pressure on them. Okay, so that is a key factor in any football game. You gotta get in the quarterback's face if you're the defense. That is what the Steelers live on. And if you don't do that and you count on your secondary, which sucks, which we didn't deal with in the offseason, then you're in big trouble. Then quarterbacks are going to pick you apart. Last week, Peyton Manning picked us apart. It seemed like when they went into no huddle, the Broncos, it seemed like the Steelers didn't bring the pressure. We adjusted negatively, and they adjusted positively. This week, we adjusted positively, and we just outperformed the Jets this week, and I think that was very observant in this football game. So, much better performance by the Steelers, but next week, we got Oakland, and it's on the West Coast. So, it's a tough, it's going to be, the Raiders suck, okay? Let's get that straight. The Raiders suck. But, in Oakland, in that stadium, considering where the rivalry we are after Franco Harris's immaculate reception, it's going to be a tough game. And I don't want anyone on here to think otherwise, okay? It's going to be a difficult, tough game. And the Steelers are going to have to play well. And they're going to have to start out better than they did on yesterday. Okay, they're going to have to do better when they start because the crowd's going to be a factor, and you're going to have to take advantage of it. You're going to have to shut them down early. You're going to have to shut them up. Okay, get out 7-0. Force the Raiders to punt. Get the ball back, score some more. You got it. No field goals. Okay, going down the field to get field goals or punting or 3-and-outs, not going to work. You're going to need touchdowns to start the game. Then you can worry about field goals and punting later after you've established yourself and got a big lead. Okay, because I like to think this year the Steelers defense will not cough up a lead, okay, once they have it. So get out early. Do not get behind early because then we're going to lose. That's just my opinion. Okay, if we start down in this game, we're going to lose. And I looked at the schedule starting this year, and I said, you know what? The Raiders could be a game I could see the Steelers losing. So the Steelers have to prove me wrong and go 2-1, because then after that you got a bye week, and then Philadelphia, who's tougher than we think, is going to come into Pittsburgh, and that's going to be a good game. Of course, I really want to win that Philly game because it's an interstate rivalry. It's personal to me. I hate Philadelphia. I hate everything about that city pretty much, except the little old-fashioned ice cream parlor there. Otherwise, I don't like anything about that city, and I want to beat them big time, okay? No question about it. Okay, that is a game I want to win. So if we have to lose one in the next few weeks, it probably would have to be Oakland, because I hate Oakland too, but I hate Philly more, and I hate I hate them with a passion. And also, the Titans aren't that good, so we need to take advantage of that, even though it's in the Music City. So that's just my take on this week. If you have your own opinions on that or want to add something to this, like I said, it's overall a better performance, and the Steelers definitely did much better. It's in Pittsburgh, though, and it's against a Jets team who I think is still going to suffer. But all things considering, it's a good start to progress into something better of a team. So if we do good at Oakland, go 2-1, overcome that obstacle, go in the bye week with our heads held up high, and then have Philly come into Pittsburgh and beat them, I'll be a happy camper. And then obviously beat Tennessee, your start 4-1, and then your schedule looks very good, because then you have the Bengals, who I think we can beat, 5-1, and then you're looking at a good stretch. But if you lose to Oakland, then you are second guessing yourself. But like I said, I would rather lose to Oakland than lose to Philly. So if there is such a thing as fate, then I'd much rather beat the Eagles than beat the Raiders. Because I'm sorry, I know a lot of Steeler fans will disagree with that because we hate the Raiders, but I hate Philly with a passion. And I hate their fans. I hate everything about that city, like I said. So there you go. So that's if fate is there. But I still think if you're the Steelers, you got to win, and you can't take Oakland lightly. You got to beat them, and you got to and that's just my take. But anyway, Anything else you want to add? Comment. Otherwise, that's about it for this week. More DV videos to come. Until then, see you later, everyone.